26 lessons that I've learned in 26 years. I turned 26, and as I'm heading into my 27th year, I thought it would be fun to reflect. Did I learn more things than 26 in the past 26 years? I did. But I can't compile that into a list. And I thought it would be fun to make this list, and also for me to look back on to see what themes mattered a lot at the time. I really feel like themes of health, identity, expression, confidence, etc. are very prominent in this list. And I don't know, maybe in 10 years it's a lot of different topics, you know. So I'm just going to read them to you, but I've addressed them to my younger self. So I'm talking to you directly, but you just gotta have to pretend that you're me, but younger. Or maybe not. There are some more intimate, also female body related things. If those things make you feel uncomfortable, then maybe this is not the video to fall asleep to, but I hope that you might find some comfort in this, or a little bit of wisdom from me. I'm kidding. Some days, maybe you can relate to this, some days I feel like I have it all figured out, and then most days I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. And I think that might actually be the biggest lesson, and I think that no matter what age you are, you're going to have both those feelings at various times in life, because that's just life. So, I hope that you don't feel pressure to have everything figured out, because you don't have to. And don't forget to drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, soften your eyebrows, relax your muscles, all the way down from your shoulder, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your torso, your hips, from your legs to your toes. And if you like to, you can take a deep breath. I'm going to. And I'm going to read my list. I have my pocket notebook here, and I have it kind of sitting on my lap, and I'm gonna read from here. So I'm probably also gonna be looking around my room a lot, because I kind of like that we don't have to make direct eye contact. Okay, things I would tell my younger self today. 26 lessons I learned in 26 years. The first one: I am always going to be here to take care of you. I love you so much, and you are so loved. I am really proud of myself that I stand up for myself, and I have my own back. Throughout the past 10 years, when I noticed that my mental health was declining, I would go to therapy, I would drag myself to the doctor, I would ask someone to take me there. I, with time, got better at confrontation when it's needed, letting go of friendship when it's needed, acknowledging mistakes when it's needed, and I really feel confident in that I'm always going to be here to take care of myself. I will always have my own back, and that's a huge, huge thing I learned. 2. Even with health issues, you can live a fulfilling life. Health is a privilege. It shouldn't be, but it is. connection mentally and physically, and that actually I got a lot better and I was able to function, and then the burnout happened, and I did learn from that huge experience that, you know, I can still live a fulfilling life. It might not look the way that I'd imagined it, and some days that's easier to accept than others. I think anyone with chronic leaning health issues might relate to that. But you can live a very fulfilling life. And yeah, I'm very happy that I learned that, because it lives somewhere in my brain, and then on the days that it's harder to grasp that, I know that it'll come back, that feeling. 3, you vote with your money every day, so vote wisely. And now this, take that with a bucket of salt, because we don't really have the freedom sometimes to fully use our money in exactly the way that we would want to, and only support the things that we want to, and boycott everything that we don't want in our lives, because we live in a capitalist society. But I do find the way that I'm spending my money and where I'm spending my money a form of activism that I really like. So for me, that was boycotting Amazon, for example, buying more locally. If I want to buy a crew neck, recently I got one from a creator on YouTube that I wanted to support, and then I would feel much better having my money go towards them than towards a different fast fashion brand, for example. But then, you know, it's important to be kind to ourselves or at least for me, I have a tendency to get really strict with myself in that, and that's even more terrible. But I think it's very worthwhile to take a look at where the money is going, what brands you're supporting, and choosing to put it towards things that you stand for or really support. Yeah. And then number 4, it goes hand in hand with that, is you are not single-handedly ruining the planet by making a purchase. Okay? Because that's kind of the other side of that I really struggled with. I went through a phase where, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I still think I want to be a minimalist every other month, but I really have too many hobbies to actually want that. But with every purchase, I would feel guilty if it was new, specifically about, you know, there's already so much in the world, etc. And I think it's a beautiful thing if you have the means to only thrift and whatever else. But I've also found myself often limited by health, so physically being unable to go places, and also I burn out at the idea that I would have to fully do that. Like, I was guilt tripping myself into a lot of things, I guess, and I felt really influenced by the online world. And, you know, if you're online, there can be this real atmosphere, this policing of how people are spending their money and whatever else. It's no one's business. Everyone budgets differently. Everyone does their own thing. And there is no need to feel guilty because there are other people who are much more to blame. I only think it's a good thing if you choose to be more mindful and use this subtle way of activism, you know. But you're not single-handedly ruining the planet, so be gentle with yourself. Lesson 5. You are the most critical person in your life. Critical of yourself, self-critical. Give yourself some grace. You are a good person. myself, as well as a lesson that I've learned, is that the only person who's as critical of me as I'm afraid of people being is just me. No one else is. So that's nice. Number 6. I have somewhere else. Let's see. Yes. Be yourself furiously. Don't avoid conflict. Growth lies in that exact discomfort that you hide from. As a recovering people pleaser, I was very avoidant of conflict, and I can still be that sometimes because I want everyone to be happy. I want the vibes to be good, but that is to my own detriment sometimes. And there's actually a lot of growth that is behind the wall of that discomfort that makes you hide, and when you step over that, it can be such a relief, or at least you will know how it feels. I think that that's with any fear or thing that is scary. It's that edge that you really don't want to go towards, if that makes sense. I'm very metaphorical maybe, but the thing that you resist so much is often the thing that makes you grow. And that's not to say that you have to step out your comfort zone every fucking moment, but for me it was in moments of conflict, really being like, I have to say this, I'm going to say this. And my mom has a really good example of that. She had a conflict with a coworker, and she walked up to him and she really gave herself a 3, 2, 1 before she said it. And she really remembers it very vividly because that was a moment where she was like, I stood up for myself, I set that boundary, I confronted him, and she really grew from that, and it made it easier the next times. And I think that that's the perfect example of what I mean by this. So, thanks, Mom. Number 7. It's okay if love is a little bit messy. You know the line between messy and unhealthy. That's not to say, like, stay with your ex who has a couple of toxic tendencies, but they mean well. Like, I don't mean that. You deserve good things. You deserve the best. You deserve to be treated with love and respect and kindness and warmth, and not to be made feel little or too much or whatever else it is. But you are with two people who are figuring their lives out and then trying to get together, and that can just be a little messy. And I feel like the online world can be a very negative voice, in that there's really this energy online of, the simply, if he wanted to he would, and if he doesn't then just walk away and blah blah blah. And I kind of fell into an algorithm at one point where that was really happening, and that was not good. So you know the line, you're smart, you know the line, you feel it, you've experienced it. Trust yourself, Okay, number 8. Look that up. Oh yeah, loosen the grip. I love having control over things, but of course there are a lot of things that you can't control. So focusing on the things that you can in little ways and letting go of the things that you can't. It takes trust, but it actually doesn't have to take trust. You don't have to force yourself to trust in something if you don't. You can just give it a chance and wait and see with some things. You don't have to force yourself to trust, but tightening that grip and trying to control everything only makes it worse and will burn you out. So, loosen the grip. Number 9. for taking good care of myself. We don't really celebrate things like that often, do we? And I mean, for me as well, with work stuff, I am self-employed. I don't really celebrate things that much. And so it was nice to actually feel like I was celebrating something and really making that a moment. And that was a good reminder to myself to do things like that more often. And in the summer, after years of going back and forth in digital detoxes and everything, and I've made videos about that on my vlog channel in the past, if you are interested in all that stuff, I deleted Instagram in June. It's the time where I've really stopped using it, stopped consuming, and I've now deactivated my accounts, both my personal and my public one, and it feels so good. It feels so good. Over the past 6 months, I really feel like I've grown as an individual, aside from the outside world that is very loud. I reflected so much on my clothing, my behavior, my language, because of course my English language capacity and my vocabulary is very driven by what I consume online, because that's where I encounter English, so that's where I learn. And while I still use the word like slay and bestie and whatever else, locking in, I don't know, I feel like it's nice to not be influenced. It's as simple as that. And I realized that just every time I opened the apps, I would feel either insecurity or pressure, and that could be in any form, but I would feel it, and I don't anymore. Did I start watching more YouTube videos? I did, but I still love long form content and really sitting with something. I started reading a lot slower. I started reading books only I liked. I had the best reading year in 2025, even though it might have been less, and it was less trending books, but the ratings overall were so much higher. I had such a more enjoyable time, simply. I feel a lot less influenced, and I really like that. And now when I'm influenced, it's the old school way, through my friends who I admire, and through a couple of creators who I still love and respect and admire, and watch their videos. So it's been really good for me, and one of the biggest gifts that I've given myself. And now I can really be like, oh, I'm better than everyone else because I'm not on Instagram, you know, and that's so nice. I'm kidding. Okay. Number 10. You make your own path. Just because you have no examples of the path that you're on or want to be on doesn't mean that it's not right. It can be uncomfortable, but at the same time it's freedom. Of course that comes with privilege, okay? So now that we have that out of the way, I come from a family where my parents grew up in a small town, stayed in that small town, worked jobs like the 9 to 5 for years and years at the same company. My friends have parents who took that path, and when I went to college and moved to the city, and there was a lot more, finally, cultural diversity and just general diversity, I really learned that I can choose so many different things. And like now I'm making ASMR videos, right? It's not something that people in my direct surroundings are doing. Or if I talk about the future, I have no idea. And I don't think that there's a set path for me that I would want to be on. I'm an Aquarius. I like to be free and be able to move around, and I feel like I just really felt like, I mean, I'm on the right path. I'm always on the right path. You're always exactly where you need to be. I really believe that, despite how shitty it is. am so lucky to have met people from around the world who I have met and who have felt like home in that moment. And I think that that's a really beautiful thing. So yeah, home is many things. Number 12, multiple savings accounts. Or like piggy banks, if you want to call it that. 13, low to mid-rise jeans just look phenomenal on you. And show off those long legs, girl. I used to only wear high-waisted because that was the trend, but I like low to mid-rise a lot more on my body, so rock it. 14, this is a huge one, mental health-wise, specifically. Your needs are 99% of the time a lot more banal, a lot more simple, basic than you think. Maslow's pyramid, baby. It's a lot of the time a sense of security and safety in like home and direct surroundings. It's sleep, hygiene, it's social interaction, it's a feeling of fulfillment. It's a feeling of being involved in community. It's, you know, being less stressed, it's taking away stressors, it's slowing down. It's a lot of the times there's a lot of simplicity. That's not for me to downplay mental health issues at all, okay? I'm still in trauma therapy, so don't think that I solved everything by just looking at Maslow's pyramid. But I remember in college, when we would learn about the pyramid, a lot of the time, that is where your needs can be met. So, yeah. 15, just because you have the degree for it, it doesn't mean you need a job in that field. I don't do much in my field currently, and I really kind of don't want to, and that makes me sad and confused sometimes, but it's nice to know that I don't have to do something with it, so it's a reminder. Not eating sugar will make you happier. Number 16, I eat mostly sugar-free and I feel a lot better for doing that. It's unpractical, it's confronting because there is so much sugar in everything, but I think that overall I started eating very differently, and that's just sometimes inconvenient. But if something is worth being inconvenient, it's eating healthy, and it's your health in general and taking good care of your body. It's important to advocate for yourself and to put the things in your body that make you feel good. So for me, not eating sugar and too many processed foods and stuff like that, that really helps. Oh, in addition to that, by the way, also no better skincare than eating well. Like, look into food before you look into the serums. That was for me a big lesson. Number 17. Wait. Okay, so this was like 16 and 17. Now number 18. Do not underestimate the power of a good thrifted find on your emotional and spiritual well-being, okay? A good thrifted find is scrumptious, so it's good to learn that. 19. Being sober is cool, and be louder about that. I stopped drinking alcohol piercing. We live in this meat sack that is a temple, don't get me wrong, but life is too short to be too serious with how you decorate it. But do take like at least a week to think about it. But that's just me. I love the tattoos that I have. I'm really proud of them. I really enjoy them, and I can get really in my head about those decisions, but at the end of the day, it's just external things. And yes, it's a permanent decision, so think about it. I wouldn't recommend to anyone or advise anyone to just rush into anything. But for me, yeah, I don't want to hold myself back too much from self-expression because I am afraid of falling a little bit more outside the norm. Be a little bit whimsy, be a little bit crazy, you know, it's fine. I've wanted the nose piercing that I have. I'd wanted it for 3 years before, and I've had it for 5 years now, and I still love it. Even if I take it out tomorrow, I still have had 5 amazing years. I had a septum ring, and I took it out, and I would actually love to have it again. I miss it, but it was kind of itchy, but I'm glad that I did it, you know? It's fun to play around in that way, and it's also never too late to do that, okay? You don't have to be in your 20s to do it. You can be older if you want to. If you wanted a piercing, you're in your 30s and you still want a piercing, just get it. But that's just me. And, yeah. Okay, well, next one, I think is 22. Anyway, the only thing holding you back from achieving the big dreams that you have is your shyness. It's okay to take up space. Of course, there are other things holding me back, but I have a really big, large shyness in me that holds me back sometimes from expressing myself, putting myself out there, getting my foot in the door, things like that. And that is one of the biggest things holding me back. So don't do that, girl. Take up the space. Take up space. Invest in friendships and people that share values with you. Don't prioritize the superficial ones just to fit in. I had a really big desire when I was younger to fit in, and I would prioritize friendships that were less fulfilling. And I don't regret that, but I kind of do. I don't know. Double-edged sword. Next, solo travel is good for your soul, so keep making the time to do that. And solo dates if you can't go big. I love solo traveling. I love it. I really do. I went to Australia when I was 18, and that was amazing. I went as an au pair, so I was in a host family. I've made a video about that. And I went to Norway on a little solo road trip, and I went to visit my cousin in Geneva, and there's something about being alone at the airport that I just love. And I love going on solo dates. I'll go anywhere alone. I love it. Okay, this is 24, I guess, or 25. A full bush rocks. What else is there to say? You've been conditioned to feel more or less feminine measured by your body hair, and that's crazy. And not crazy, but it's sad because it's very natural. And stop fussing about it. You will always be as feminine as you feel. I cannot tell you how many times I've done a last minute leg shave to go somewhere. Who cares? Who cares? I don't mind. I don't feel less of a woman. I don't feel less sexy or worthy or whatever if I have hair on my legs. And I also think that the adult film industry plays a huge part in this, because every woman that I've spoken to about our vulvas, everyone that I've spoken to has wanted surgery on their labia because it didn't look like like that. But it's socially insane to me that that is such a thing. And a couple years ago, I really started to experiment with not shaving. So I'm all saying this very lightheartedly and as if it was really easy, but I did need to unlearn that image that I had in my head. And now if I don't shave my armpits for a little while, I don't mind at all. I only shave for YouTube videos. If I were to wear a tank top or something, or for a work thing maybe. But I love a woman with a little bit of armpit hair. I love not shaving too much down there. I love having leg hair. I'm not saying disregard personal hygiene, but we've been made to think that our own body hair, what comes out of our own body, isn't clean and healthy, and I think that's so sad. And I wanted to reclaim that a little bit, so I started this journey, and it took me a while to get more comfortable with it, but now I feel really confident in that. We can have different opinions, I don't mind, but I will say, if someone would hear me say this and would think that I am less clean or less of a woman or less sexy or something, but I don't want to be perceived as sexy by just any person. Like, I'm very much okay with not being thought of as sexy if I'm walking somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really know what word I'm looking for, but it would make me sad if the fact that I have body hair would impact that opinion of someone. You know what I mean? Like, if someone is watching this video and I was like, oh my god, she's so disgusting, like, that was what I was afraid of. But that is so sad. It's just body hair. We all have it. Men can grow it out however they want to. You know what I mean? So all this to say, full bush rocks, and just if you catch yourself wanting to do a last minute shave before you go somewhere, think twice. I recommend it. It's a good experiment with yourself, just to see how it makes you feel. What does it do to you? What does it trigger? Highly recommend. Last one, okay? Enjoy all the laughter and love and casual magic all around you. There is an abundance of things that make your life worth living, and even in the darkest of times, you'll be able to notice and appreciate them more. The more present you are, the happier you'll be, and you are insanely resilient and capable, and don't let anyone or anything take that away from you. But I know you won't, because I know you, and I love you. That was to myself. So those were some of the things that I've learned in the past 26 years. I would love if you could leave a life lesson in the comments. I was going to say description box, but you don't have access to that. Leave a life lesson you've learned in the comments below, and let's make this a little source of life lessons. That would be fun. They can be silly, goofy, they can be serious, whatever it is. I hope that you are taking good care of yourself and setting boundaries and getting out there and resting when your body tells you it needs to rest.